This podcast is created for adult audiences only and contains content that may be alarming to some viewers. Listener discretion is advised. Any badass views or opinions you're about to hear are those of the hosts and do not represent those of the people, institutions, or organizations that the podcast may or may not be associated with. So just don't be a dick. You know what you're getting yourself into.
Girls Gone Weird.
Welcome to Girls Gone Weird with Nicole and Dini.
Little lady. And our special guest today.
We have a special guest.
I'm Courtney.
Courtney.
And I'm Courtney. We have Courtney here, and she's our special guest today. And I'm super excited because they surprised me on camera. Courtney was dressed in half drag.
Yep. Well, it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like 70s pimp hat and then 70s pimp glasses, but also beautiful nipple gold.
I was feeling somewhat like Eric Clapton's cousin.
Yep.
Kind of vibe.
We're trying, I'm like, you look like a rock star, but like one that's a little farther off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get Eric Clapton's cousin. Eric Clapton's cousin.
Courtney.
Courtney Clapton.
Yeah.
Courtney Clapton. Well, everybody, welcome Courtney Clapton. She is one of our very best friends. I've known her since 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, something around there. And she's just one of the loveliest, funniest, most beautiful souls I know, right next to Dini. So it is a joy to be able to look them both in the face right now.
I love it.
And and she's just going to join us and giggle along and maybe, I don't know, surprise us with some flatulence or something.
We'll see how it goes.
A big fart in the back.
Big fart.
If you hear a fart, it's not us for once. Just...
Yeah.
That's this whole podcast. I don't know if you know this podcast, but it's all just shit and fart jokes.
Okay.
And we have a button that's like, wah, wah. Who shit again? Just like those terrible, like, old school radio people.
Yep.
That's the whole podcast, so.
Beautiful.
Poop jokes. There are going to be plenty of poop jokes today, y'all, because we are covering some killer grannies.
Yay!
And you know they like to poop.
They do.
Because grannies are old and incontinent. Sorry, not all of you. I'm sure that we got a couple of grannies listening that are not incontinent that are yelling at me right now.
Hello, grandmas. If we do have grandmas, let us know. We want to hear if we have some grandmas out there.
That would be sweet.
I
You know,
know.
my step grandma listens sometimes with Amy in the car on the way to work.
Does she?
And she's
That's
in
awesome.
her 70s, something like that.
We should find out who our oldest listener is.
We should
That's
chime
fun.
in.
Yeah, or if you're the youngest, let's hear it.
Call 888 I'm old. We answer.
Yep.
Well, yeah, so that was super exciting. You guys spent Zombie Jesus Day together,
Yeah.
hanging out. What'd you guys do again? Did you say you had a fire?
Lots of food. No, we didn't have a fair because it was so cold. We had lots of food, and then we just did a little wood walk. It was kind of just a chill day. What did we do at night? Oh, because it was 420, we had a Reefer Madness night.
Yes.
So,
Nice.
yes, so we not only watched Half Baked right away, because that's amazing, but we looked up Reefer Madness to watch the original Reefer Madness, and all of a sudden we saw one pop up that's a musical. Have you heard about this, Nicole?
No.
It's going to blow your
have
fucking
not.
mind.
It's like from
Is it-
2005,
Yes.
I think.
2005. Oh, I was very distracted in 2005 with my very first boyfriend.
Yes.
Um,
Guys, it is so good. Kirsten Bell, isn't it?
Kristen
Alan
Bell's in
Cummings.
it?
Yeah, she's... It's
Okay.
so good. It got a Primetime
Okay.
Emmy. It's a Showtime show. I highly suggest it. It's so good. I'm like, how have I not heard of this? Like, how have we not heard
I feel
of
like I
this?
should find it.
Yeah,
I do love myself some Kristen Bell. She's just
You'll
a
love it.
delight.
you'll love it. It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's so funny.
Cool.
So
So you guys watched that? You guys celebrated both ways a little bit?
yep, 100%. 420 night.
Nice.
I wore my new
I love it.
pajamas that had mushrooms on it. I was trying to get into the
You have
vibe.
pajamas?
So. Jammies.
Sweet.
What do you do on
I'm
Easter?
jealous. We went to the Montgomery Biscuits baseball game.
Oh,
they were playing the Rocket City Trash Pandas, which they have the best name ever.
Yeah.
The Rocket City Trash Pandas. Because they're from Huntsville, which is Rocket City.
Are these like just normal people, or is it like a minor league?
It's minor league, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They did a whole egg hunt for the kids. So Violet went out on the field and like ran and found a bunch of eggs. And my sister and her fiance met us there, and we got pizza and drinks and maybe had some gummies because it was 420. But, you know, we parented responsibly.
I'm calling CPS right now.
Please do not.
Please, for me. I could use a break. Like, give it a few days and then, like, give her back.
There was a sober human there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, it was good, though. It was good. We had fun. Came back. I started watching the show Hacks. Have you seen Hacks?
I haven't
Max?
started it. Have you? Mm-mm. I've seen, like, pictures, but...
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I started watching that, and then I just passed the fuck out, and here we are. Yep. I had the day off today, which was nice, so just got to hang out. I've been playing a lot of Sims 4. Yeah, I go through periods where I just, like, can't stop playing, and then I stop playing for, like, 3 years, and then I can't stop playing.
I'm the same with that game. That game is like that, where it's like, when I have that, that's all I'm thinking about, all I want to do, like, nothing, I can't do anything. It's like, I could sit here for 16 hours straight playing this right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It's my current addiction for probably a few more weeks until I get bored again. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Although they have a new expansion pack called Life and Death, and you can like open up your own funeral home. And I'm kind of like you guys.
Yes.
My life is it's written out. It's planned. Mm-hmm. That's all I'll be doing lately.
Have you made yourself in The Sims? Like, do you make yourself, or do you like make someone else? Like, are you like fantasy, or are you into like your stuff?
Okay, it's a little bit of both. So I've made my whole family, and I made a complete replica of our house, like down to every. Like I'm gonna have to show you. Picture. It's very impressive. Yeah, it's the best I could do. Wow. But then I'll add just like random neighbors, and you know Taylor Swift might be in my neighborhood too, and we're in like a lesbian relationship, and you know,
it's a dream.
It's a dream.
It's your dream.
Yeah. I really should have had Daniel leave me for her, but, you know, you can be a love triangle. It's cool.
You could.
Whatever.
Just be the extra.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I made an alien down the street. She's pretty cool. She's a chef. Yeah, they got pretty good bios, good background stories.
Nice.
Fun.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And then, obviously, you know, picking up bodies. I've had a lot more bodies pick up, so why don't we just dive into death news? Ready? What do you think?
This is how we do a death news.
Ready?
Ready for a death news thing? We go, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to the death news. All right.
We have to do that because Mark was supposed to make us music forever ago, and he still hasn't. But we have way better music, us doing it.
Yeah, but it's us doing it with a little spooky background theme, although I can rarely hear that. When I listen back to episodes, I can barely hear. But when I'm editing, I can hear it so clearly. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, ours is the best.
It's always the best.
So, yeah, I've been picking up some more bodies, which was, you know, nice because it was office work for a really long time there. But most of them have been pretty boring. Just, I still haven't been to a prison or a jail in, like, months.
You were, like, all day, every day prison and jail for a while there.
I was. My very first call was to a fucking prison.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on, but whatever. That was kind of my moneymaker. There were so many people dying in jail, which kind of speaks a lot to the current state of our incarceration correction system. But that's a whole other story for another day. Yeah, so I did have one call that came in at 2 a.m. the other night. And it was like an hour away. And technically it was for one of our, you know how, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but our funeral home, my boss owns 3 others along with the one I've started working at. So this one technically came in for one of the others. I think maybe he was like, you want some money? You know, I'm on his good side lately. He's like, you want to go get this one? It was 2 a.m. And I was like, oh, it was the one time I was like, I'm really tired and I don't want to go, but I should go. I don't know why he didn't call the other guy. Because it was for them, and they were an hour away, too. I was like, all right, I got this. So I got up, I drove an hour away, I get there. I call the nurse and I'm like, hi, I'm Nicole from yada, yada, yada. I'm here to pick up yada, yada, yada. And they're like, oh, he was just picked up. I was like, bitch, what? Who? And he's like, oh, I couldn't remember their name. And then I was like, was it K? You know? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that motherfucker. So it was the guy from the funeral home that it was technically for that just decided to take the call and didn't even wait for it to be like sent to him, because they distribute the calls. Like nobody's supposed to just take a call. Like the boss and his assistant pass them out, you know?
Maybe that's why you're not getting it, because maybe he's trying to get that extra money on the side. He's like getting it first. He's like on a radio, like a cop radio, and every time he hears a dead body, he runs out before he's even called. He's just waiting by it.
He's just sweating when he gets there.
Yep.
Oh, God. Yep. I'd be so pissed. So, yeah, needless to say, the nurse was like, oh, I'd be pissed if I were you. I was like, I am. Mm-hmm. So I could let my boss know. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm just going to turn around. Well, what sucked is that apparently I left the keys to the other van in my coat. So if any other calls came in for work, I had to take it. So I was like, you know what? I'm out already. So I drove all the way to work, which was another 30 minutes, dropped off the keys I accidentally took, and then went home. And they go home till like 5 a.m. Aww. But my boss paid me anyway, which was really nice. Aww. Yeah. He's really been doing better lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's so flexible too. Like even I was like, hey, instead of getting paid for most of this in cash, can I just like buy some things from Sam's Club at the Sam's Club run?
Yeah.
And I'll make up the difference. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. I'm like, sweet.
That's awesome.
That's the perks of working for, like a family company.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not some big box mortuary. Yeah. So that was cool. But yeah, kind of sucked. Sent me an hour away. He was like, at least you didn't have to do any of the heavy lifting. You just had to wake up and drive. I was like,
that's true.
I guess you're right. Guess you're right. And I've been bitching about hours, and I'm sure everybody listening is probably saying the same thing. Like, bitch, you've been bitching about hours. Take them. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the only other thing I can think of that is noteworthy, which is very noteworthy. My boss called me the other day. He's like, hey, later on tonight, can you go all the way to Birmingham and pick up this body from the morgue, in Birmingham? I was like, all right. Yeah, that's cool. It was one of those where I was like, I could kind of go whenever I wanted. Mm-hmm. So I like hung out with Violet and had dinner and watched a movie, and then she was on her way to bed, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go just do my job. Well, I realized that the highway I was going to take was going to pass my sister and her fiance's house. So I called them, and I was like, hey, anybody want to come to the morgue with me? Because, I'm passing you, and you can come. My boss is cool with ride-alongs. And my sister was like, yeah, she's like, I'll come. And you guys know, I've mentioned this before, like she's terrified of death.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised. I was just like, I'm like, Brittany maybe, but not her. I'm like,
that's what I thought too. Yeah. I was like, Brittany's probably going to want to go. Mm-hmm. And then Allison started talking about it, and I was like, well, I should clarify that I only have room for one breathing human with a pulse that can come with that.
You don't have like someone, they can't like lay in the back with the body like sideways. So you have to like, if you do long form like this right next to each other.
They absolutely could. If you want to fit 8 people back there with that body if they really wanted to. It wouldn't be legal, but
illegal.
So anyway,
cuddling.
I picked her up and she's like, can we get some food? And I was like, yeah. So I drove her through Taco Bell, and after we got out of the drive-thru, I was like, I still have my bumper sticker on the back of my van that says, please be patient transporting human remains.
It's right through Taco Bell.
Went through the Taco Bell drive-thru.
All your Taco Bell stories. First, one of your worst drunk times, Taco Bell parking lot. And now...
Yeah.
Yes, she has the worst times at Taco Bells.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yep. I was going to say carrying dead body through Taco Bell drive-thru, although I did not do that. It wasn't in there yet. I have carried a dead body through Jimmy John's drive-thru, though.
And you went to the movies with a dead body in the car.
No, he wasn't in the car.
Oh, I thought
that was after the funeral. Nope, that was after the funeral. I just had the hearse. So it was like hearse in the parking lot. Speaking of, do you like my new shirt? Can you see it?
Oh, I love it.
That's awesome.
It says Last Responder. I'm in love with it. My husband laughed his ass off when he saw it. He was like, that's totally you. Yeah. It's true. Not the first, I'm the last.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, I'm off track. So
We do that a lot. We're always off track.
heading-
It's never on.
It's never,
It's never on.
just remember where I was. So we're headed to the morgue, and I'm like, you don't have to come in with me if you don't want. You can wait in the car, but you're welcome into the morgue as well. Like, it's super nondescript. It's just unmarked doors. You go in through like the garbage area. Like, she wasn't wearing scrubs like I was. She was wearing her sweatshirt with her dog's little ears and names on it. She didn't look professional at all. I was like, it's totally cool. You can come. And she's like, okay. Like, handed her some black gloves. I was like, come on in. It's like, you don't have to touch anything if you don't want. Again, like, if you just want to pretend you're shadowing me, whatever. She's like, all right. So we're going up the elevator, and she looks a little nervous. But then she just jumps right in, and she puts her gloves on, and she starts toting the cot towards the morgue. Nice. And you could tell it kind of just clicked. Mm-hmm. And then, like, we walk in, and I'm like, I'm here to pick up so-and-so. And she's like, all right. So the woman opens up the door to the cooler, and through the cooler, you can see like 8 bodies and body bags and shit like that. And I kind of nudge her, and I'm like, check that out. What's behind there?
See your body.
And she gave me the big like eyes, like, oh my God. This is like, that's as many dead bodies she's ever seen. So they rolled him out. This fucker is big. He's huge. He was probably 350, just a brick, just a big, tall, broad guy. And he had a bunch of, he donated a lot of organs and skin and body parts and stuff. So like through his body bag, you can kind of see a little red, like blood, because they don't stitch him back up. They're like, whatever, So
because that's your decision. You decided that's okay,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he was an eye donor too, because it's like eye donor, you have to keep their heads elevated for eye donors. And we had a whole conversation about this. For some reason, Allison and I were under the assumption that when you donate your eyes, they literally like donating your eyeballs. Mm-hmm. Like there's no eyeballs left in your sockets. That's totally wrong. That's not like that at all. They literally just usually donate the cornea, just like the clear front layer. Like it probably doesn't even look like you did anything.
Really? I
Fun
always
fact.
think because my grandma, when she died, she wanted like everything to go to science, but because she lived a fun life, her body was just fucked. Like drug, everything
like, we
was
don't
so
need
fucked.
it.
They're just like, we can't do much. But like, they're like, we took her eyes, and my grandma had the most beautiful eyes out of any eyes. I always say that. My grandma's eyes were like these clear ice eyes. Oh, gorgeous. Yeah. And I'm just like, I always think about like one day, they're like, we donated our eyes, this is the one thing we could do. I'm like, if I just walk down the street and like see my grandma's eyes one day, like
that would be wild.
Wouldn't it? That's what I think about often. Like I think about like I'm gonna be like at a store and just see my grandma's eyes, which would be badass. Yeah. But also like
super crazy.
But maybe I thought it was.
Now I'm not saying it's impossible. They may in some cases take the whole eye, but from most cases it's just the cornea, just that clear sort of film. Wow. So but yeah, we were both thinking like, oh, he's got no eyeballs either. So she was like, oh my God. But I told her, I was like, don't worry, like you're not going to actually see a dead body. You'll see body bags, but like we're not going to unzip them, because she wasn't taking him to work with me. Yeah. I was just going to drop her back off at her house with the body in the van still. Just a pit stop home. And I'm glad she came, because he was so big that it took 3 of us to get him from their morgue table onto the cot. So she went right in, dude. She went like, she was right in the middle.
Well, good for you, Allison.
Pulled the whole body bag, onto the cot. And she killed it. It was so amazing.
It's like in your guy's blood. It's like in your genetics. What if you like do like a thing in like back in the day, like the native family were like the first like going in and getting the body ready and everything. It's just like in your ancestry.
Maybe it is. She did. I was so proud of her, especially given how weird she is about death. Yeah, she just jumped right in. And I think she'd probably tell you this too, because I told this to her. I said, once you get in there and you're right there faced with it, it's very clinical. Like you kind of lose your about it. You're just like, what do I got to do? I got my gloves, It's very clinical. So yeah, we got him in the van. I drove her to her house. Dropped her off. Her fiance Brittany was waiting outside for her, and I'm like, I know why you're waiting outside. You want to catch a glimpse of this body, don't you? And she was like, no, I'm just kidding my wife. I'm like, you liar. You're a fucking liar. Go ahead. I'll turn on the light. You go look
Holding that dead body.
So I turned on the light. I think she gave it just like a little glance, but she didn't. She was more weird about it than my sister was, which was so funny.
I'm super shocked by that.
I know.
I know you listen to this,
So, yeah.
Brittany. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Nothing against what, but I'm shocked. Did not expect it.
Well, we'll see if she comes on the next one that I can, that I can easily bring them to. But yeah, that was pretty cool. It was something I never thought I'd do with my sister in a million years. If you told me when we were little, like, you guys are going to pick up a dead body together one day, I'd be like, fuck off.
How did she feel about it afterwards?
I could tell she was proud of herself. She had like felt accomplished.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then we spent kind of the whole ride home talking just about the business and how I feel about it and how I feel about helping people and just kind of my motto. And yeah, she's like, we should open up our own funeral home called Death of a Sister. I was like, oh.
Oh, she wants to come and start the funeral home with you.
Ready.
Look at this.
ready.
It could be a family thing.
It could be a
Perfect.
family thing. I know, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I've been waiting to bring somebody. It was the first time I've been able to bring
I
somebody.
know I've been wanting
'cause
to go so bad and go.
You
That
want
was
to
what
go?
she said to me too when
Yeah.
I was out there. Like, I hope, it's so wrong to say, but I hope I get one when you're here.
Yeah.
I know. Courtney wanted to go on one
I
too,
did.
and I was like, oh.
Oh, that sucks that you didn't.
I know.
Yeah.
Wasn't I just shy? Like, right when you got home, I was like, I gotta call. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
My brother wanted to go. Yeah. Melissa wants to go sometimes. So, yeah. I should just start charging people.
You should.
This is my side gig.
Think about how pissed
You
we
wanna
would be
ride
like,
along?
you charge and just exploit my family's bodies.
You gotta respect the hustle.
Right?
Oh.
You do. You
Respect the
gotta.
hustle. Yeah. That was pretty much my only death news, so I'll go ahead and just close it out with a good little. Thank you for listening to my death news. It was short and sweet. Short and sweet.
All right. So everyone is probably already knows what's happening, what episode it is, but I'm still going to announce it because it is awesome. And it is, like we said, about killer grannies.
Yep. That
Really
kind of just
exciting.
looked like I was giving a hand job to a ghost. It was supposed
Really
to be like
long-
a butcher.
Like
Butcher
a really
knife.
big, like a really long, like it's like a thin dick, but
Like a-
very long.
Like a foot long hot dog.
Foot long hot dog dick. Yep. So we're gonna
Killer
see it. I'm gonna be
grannies.
interested if you know who this is. Today we're gonna talk about the Granny Ripper, or the name I love, Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. Okay.
Baba Yaga.
I thought Baba Yaga was a fictional character.
No, it's like a Granny Ripper. But who we're talking about today, her name is Tamara Samsonova.
Tamara Samsonova.
And a lot of you guys might not have heard of her because I went deep. There's not much about this woman. I tried so hard. I'm like, how is there not more about this? But I think it's because she is over in Mother Russia. And in Mother Russia, they don't
Russia.
share a lot of stuff.
Russia.
Mother Russia. So let's talk about Tamara. You're going to love her.
Tamara. Is it Tamara's or Tamara? Like Tia and Tamara?
No idea. I'm going to say
No
Tamara,
idea.
though.
Let's preface this with we have no idea how to say her name.
You don't come here for full facts. You come here for, we try to give you
Half-truths.
facts. Half-truths. So Tamara was born in Yazar, Russia on my brother's birthday, April 25th, but in 1947.
Oh my gosh, his birthday's coming up.
It is. I'm very excited. So I found almost nothing on this woman before high school. All we know is that she moved to Moscow for university where she studied English and German. So after graduating, she moved to St. Petersburg, Russia, where she met a man named Alexei. The couple got married and lived together in the same apartment for over 30 years. It sounds like she was kind of a shut-in, like didn't
Homebody.
really know too many people,
Yeah.
Sounds
Sounds like me.
yeah. No, this is way different.
Way different.
You're not like Tamara. You're not like her.
All right, I guess we'll see.
So for most of her working life, she worked at a travel agency, and it was literally for like her whole entire life. Like the same exact place. So from the outside, everything seemed normal. Do you want me to redo that?
I wish this was on video instead.
Yeah.
Just keep Courtney the death stare. Fucking coughing.
Trying so hard not to.
So
Look, I'm losing my voice. I'm not
like a
ripping ass,
granny
but
over
I'm
there.
losing my lungs. Yeah.
Oh, I totally got to tell you. So we were trying to figure out how to make it so that she was in the guest bedroom, right? Just we're trying to figure out so we're not talking over each other, audio and everything like that. So we set it up, but it looked totally like she was going to be a cam girl at first because the camera was like right on top of the TV. It was like perfectly on the bed.
I just showed the whole bed.
It was perfect. I'm like, it looks like we're doing something else. We're just like, yeah, let's do the podcast with us.
Yeah.
And she's like, maybe afterwards you can make some money.
Yeah, I'm like, just keep it there for the night. Make some
setup.
cash.
Get the setup.
Right? So I'm sorry for everybody. Don't be
I'm not
sad
editing
because
any of that out.
No, we don't edit half the stuff out. With that stuff.
I was trying to cover it, and then I was like,
It's all right. I'll just give you the death stare again.
So it's pretty simple, just a normal old lady. Same guy, same job, never went anywhere. But on the outside, it seemed normal until one day in 2005, she went to the police station and reported her husband of over 3 decades missing.
Ooh.
When she made the report, Tamara claimed he had been having an affair and stated that she confronted him, they fought, and he just never returned.
He's like, peace out.
Yeah. Do we know this is true? I don't know. But for days and weeks after that, even into months and years, no trace of Alexei, and everyone said that Tamara suffered deep depression after he left. Yeah.
Or because she murdered him.
Murdered. We don't even know if she murdered him. That's the
Yeah.
crazy part. She probably did murder him. But
It's a suspicious
it's
suspicion.
suspicious. It's
Yeah.
suspicious. Or did he drive her to all of her murderous ways? Dun dun dun.
We'll say she's suspected of murdering him.
Suspected of murder. Or he was just really good at starting that second family down the street, which men were back then. Let's be honest. I'm going to go out for milk. They don't come back.
Yeah.
Who knows? But Tamara, it was really bad for her, and for the next 2 decades, she was actually admitted in and out of a psychiatric care.
Poor gal.
I know. It was sad. So she was depressed and grew deeply tired of being alone. So she started talking to her friends and was like, you know what? Maybe I should rent out my flat to other people. Now, people around her were like, this is good for you. She's an older woman. She can make some money. She'll make new friends. She's been lonely. She has a space. This is great. Mm-hmm. What happened? All of a sudden, they were seeing oh, I'm getting a new tenant. And then a few weeks later, another new tenant would come in. And then a few weeks later, another new tenant would come in.
It's a high turnover rate.
So what happened? What do we know?
What do we know?
What do we know? Not much. It is believed to begin in September of 2003 when Tamara got into a fight with her tenant, a 44-year-old Sergei Potanin. So with this human being, she dismembered his body and disposed of it through the streets. She would put a head here, an arm here.
It's pretty smart.
It was just crazy. Yeah.
Scatter
The
it.
headless, armless, and legless man's body was found up and down her street, but somehow the crime remained unsolved because who would think this nice little old lady living on the street would have anything to do with that?
Yeah. Not me.
For those 2 decades that she was in the psychiatric hospital, in and out from 2003 to 2015, Tamara is believed to be headed and dismembered as many as 14 victims, cataloging all the kills in her diary. And to this day, right now, they're still looking for these bodies.
Damn, girl.
Yep. So her technique was to poison or drug her victims. Then when they were unconscious, she would start hacking into pieces while they were alive.
Ooh.
Right? It's they're drugged and then it's just chop, 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 chop.
Oh.
Yeah. So usually she remained like at home all day. No one seen her venture out. But all of a sudden they're like seeing this old lady come out with like random bags and like leaving her trash like in other people's garbage. Like she'd like go to a few houses down and be like, "Here's an arm in this trash."
She really didn't try to cover it up, did she?
No. And that's the crazy. For those 12 years, she was never suspected of the crime, even though there are all these body parts being found within her, like, street and mile within her house.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is how
old
she
Biddy did it.
Yeah. So this is how she finally got caught. So during March of 2015, Tamara had to have her apartment, like, completely redone, and through a friend she had to find a temporary place to stay. So she stayed with a 79-year-old woman named Valentina Ulanova. Very Russian. So at first they seemed like a good match to be roommates for, you know, a few months. Tamara stayed there, helped with the housework, paid a little rent, but all of a sudden, like, her and Valentina started to kind of not work out, and Valentina's like, hey, maybe you should move out. You know, like, maybe it's time, maybe your apartment's already done, but Tamara completely refused.
Stubborn old Biddy.
Stubborn. The disagreement that finally did Valentina in was they had an argument over unwashed cups. That was when Tamara decided, I'm going to poison.
Bitch.
You feel it?
Yeah. I will poison.
She deserved it? 100%.
I'll poison someone over some unwashed cups. I'll tell you right now.
My neighbor's getting your arm now, lady.
I sympathize.
Yeah. Just sitting there, some dirty cups. Time to murder.
Don't lie. I think you would too over some unwashed cups.
Actually, yeah. I do hate. I do hate dirty dishes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, like, my dishwasher was still going when I came up here. I'm like, I got a fucking sink full of dirty dishes. I'm going to sit there and sit down there because I'm a psychopath. So I get it tomorrow. We get it.
I get it. Yeah. I've never owned a dishwasher, so I, like, extra get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's your own fault. You
Fuck
are not
you.
living. It's your own fault. I told you how you can do it.
No, same here. I've never had a dishwasher myself either.
Oh,
Danielle's
I am the
just
dishwasher.
bougie. She's just the
That's what-
bougiest person I've ever met.
That's the first thing that we bought. Like, we had still all the old, like, my house is very old. All the stuff in it was, like, 70s, like, old sink and everything. I had a dishwasher in here before, like, new sink, new anything. And that's inexpensive. It was, like, $300. Like, I bought a cheapest one at Home Depot.
I was born with mine.
Courtney Dish Hands Clapton.
Yeah. If you ever become, like, a rapper, that's your rap name.
There we go.
Yeah.
Corny
For
dish
country
hands.
too.
That is.
Yeah.
So what happened to Valentina? One day, Tamara decided, I'm going to poison her. So she traveled to a pharmacist and somehow persuaded them to sell her prescription drug phenazepam. Am I saying that right?
Phenazepam? Hit me. Phenazepam?
Phenazepam.
Phenazepam.
There we go.
Phenazepam. So she was going and just, like, getting drugs. And she was, like, a little cute old lady. And they're like, okay. Like, what, Russia? What? So Tamara crushed up the pills and put them into Yukanova's favorite salad called an Olivier salad. Have you guys ever heard of Olivier salad?
That was my first question. What is it?
Yes.
Do you have a recipe?
Absolutely. I immediately looked it up and I'm bringing it to you guys because I know that we needed to hear it.
Okay.
So it is a Russian salad that was popular during post-Soviet times, but you can still see it in Russia during the holidays. It consists of diced boiled potatoes, carrots, and brine dill pickles. Together, you can add, like, an egg. So I'm kind of seeing, like, our potato salad in America.
Like a
But
hash.
this is the weird part. They also sometimes add vegetable or fruit ingredients such as green peas, onions, or apples.
Okay, I
And
don't
then
know about
sometimes
them apples,
and then sometimes they'll even put meat ingredients such as chicken, cured sausage, ham, or hot dogs.
but I see
All
it-
dressed in mayonnaise.
I don't. Oh, what the mayonnaise is throwing me off.
Like, I'm just like, isn't that, like, just everything in your house? I couldn't put it together. I was, like, trying, like, what's the most normal one? Like, I
was
know you can
imagining
add.
it as like a beef stew. Like it sounds like a stew, but then the mayo.
I know. And I was, like, looking at pictures. I can't describe it.
All right.
I can't.
I'm
Just know
sure
it's terrible.
that we'll have a picture posted of this salad.
Absolutely.
So you can go
And
ahead
if
and
we
check
do-
our socials.
And we do have some Russian listeners, so please tell me if, like, this is, like, a family dish during the holidays or, like, something you actually eat.
Yes, please. I'd love to know.
Like, I need to know. And if it's delicious. So that was Valentina's favorite dish. Tamara knew it and put it in there. So as I continue, on the night of July 23rd, Tamara found her host's body laying on the kitchen floor. So it worked. She was still alive, but even though she was still alive, she proceeded to dismember it with 2 kitchen knives and a hacksaw.
Ooh.
She first sawed off his head and then sawed the body in half using the knives. And then she sheared the corpse into pieces. Like, sheared it. Like, in chunks.
Ooh, like a cheese grater.
Yes.
Ew. Did she cut her lengthwise or widthwise in half?
Both. Like, this lady, this lady was doing all sorts of stuff.
God.
And if that's not bad enough, in order to conceal her crime, she took Valentina's head and hands and placed them in a boiling pot of water and boiled them overnight. Like, think about how smelly her house would be.
Ooh. Can you imagine the water? Like, when you think of, like, hot dog water, but, like,
right?
human head water.
Yes. So just, like, gross water. Like, I don't know if she thought she was going to boil off fingerprints. I don't know why the head may... But boiling wouldn't take away, like, teeth and stuff. But
No.
I don't think she's in her right mind. I don't think, obviously.
We're going to go ahead
Sounds
and guess
ripped,
that.
though.
Right? She sounds ripped
She
for an
sounds
old
ripped,
lady.
though.
Yeah,
Well,
it
this
seems
is
like
the
a
thing.
lot of work. I can barely, like,
Yeah.
walk to my bathroom without, like, grunting and making weird noises and stumbling. And
Absolutely. And she would, like, wrap each piece in, like, she would, like, do shower curtains or everything like that. And she would carry them out piece by piece out of her apartment.
damn.
And you know how she was
cardio.
caught with Valentino? You can watch this even on YouTube right now. You can see the like the
Surveillance.
Cameras?
surveillance.
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 We should
I can't
change-
say it right, but I can say it fancy
No,
as shit.
I really think that
Surveillance.
we should change, like, that word to surveillance now.
Surveillance.
Fuck surveillance. That's shit. Check the surveillance video.
Surveillance video. But yeah, if you guys want to watch an old lady carrying random bags out from her apartment building, all recorded,
You know
you
I
can
fucking
do that right now. It's all out there.
You know I do.
And she was doing this at night, and she was doing it, like, in sections. So she would leave, like, half of it around the house and then, like, half of it out. The only reason that Valentina's body was found was for 3 days, the neighbors saw, like, all these bags that were, like, untouched all the way down the street and finally decided to look at them. Because she was, like, she would just, like, leave garbage,
Yeah.
garbage bags out. And they're finally like, this has been, like, 3 days and no one's cleaned this up. That's how they found her.
I would never look inside those garbage bags. I would have been like, bitch is just being messy. She doesn't want to throw shit away. She doesn't want to pay for her own garbage.
Yeah.
I don't need to go through the garbage. Who's going
I'd
through
go
the
through the
garbage?
I would.
I was going to say, I probably would have been interested to go
I
see.
know.
Yeah, Danielle, the dumpster diver.
I am Danielle the dumpster diver. That is my, I don't know, everyone knows, but my family, my grandma, like, would always go behind, like, stores, like, grocery stores or different stores. And then because I was little, she would put me in the dumpsters because I could, like, get in and grab, like, stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we had all the carpet for our
Just
whole
toss
house.
her in.
Yeah. From the dumpster, our whole house was through me going behind, like, carpet places. And so my brother would tease me and he'd say I was Danielle the dumpster diver, and that's what everyone would call me.
Oh my goodness.
You know, okay, so we're going to get out a little off topic here.
Yeah.
You know what my brother does at the state fair?
Mm-hmm.
He will dumpster dive for his food. He doesn't pay a dime for any of his fair food.
Really?
Yes. Well, most of the time it's not in the garbage. People, there's so much. Okay, Minnesota State Fair. Anybody not from
Huge.
Minnesota, if you're unaware, we have the best state fair in the whole world. Huge. It's amazing. Everybody goes for the food. You got to try it. New foods every year,
Yeah.
yada, yada, yada. So people will just buy all this food, take a couple bites and set it. Like if garbage is full, they'll just set it on top of the garbage. And he'll
Really?
just go ahead and yoink it right off. And he's got himself, the brand new elote tacos because one bite was taken out of it because they just wanted to try it.
I'm such a cheap and poor ass that, like, I have never, ever spent that much money on state fair food where I wouldn't eat every single fucking drop of it. Because it's so
me too.
expensive. I would never be like, next.
Never.
Like, I couldn't even imagine. Even if I hated it, I'd be like, gotta eat it. I bought it.
No, you know what I do is
What?
because I'm the same way, but I won't shove it in my face. I bring Ziploc baggies with me in my little backpack, and I put all my extras in, and I got little doggy bag pouches.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's wacky. But I give him some respect for doing that. So
Yeah.
I understand it. It's pretty fucked up, though.
And this has been our dumpster dive talk for the episode.
Yep.
I was going to say, hopefully he doesn't find an arm or something. Well, that lady was caught.
Yeah, that's
Because there might be some body parts in a garbage can.
Mm-hmm.
It's so safe for
Yummy.
So, again.
State Fair's got fried fingers this year.
On a stick.
I'm so excited because corn dogs are always my favorite there. And they now have the vegan corn dogs, which I'm very excited to try. My other favorite one was pork chop on a stick. Because, again, I saw how much I love pork chops. But
Oh, I've never had that.
that was always my favorite. So I have to figure out how
I'd
to
go
make
down
that
on a vegan pronto pup.
Yeah, right? A whole bunch of mustard.
That's what my grandma always called them, as pronto pups. Even at home. Like, not even at the fair. Like, she never called it a corn dog. It was always a pronto pup.
That's up there with
pup?
surveillance.
Surveillance.
Cool.
Surveillance. Pronto pup.
On the top.
So back to the story of Tamara.
Yeah, I forgot. We were telling stories.
We're telling stories. So Tamara, all of a sudden the neighbors, again, seeing all these things, found body parts. But again, they didn't think it was her. The only reason they found it was her is because they did a full survey of the apartment buildings and somehow found out it was her through that survey.
Wow. Yeah.
Crazy. So when the police... Down she goes. So when the police officers knocked at Tamara's door and searched her apartment, they found traces of blood in the bathroom, and the fastening of the curtain was completely torn off, and the curtain matched the one she had, like, body parts wrapped in. Like, she wasn't smooth.
Yeah.
None of it was smooth. She also, during that search, they found a complete journal that detailed at least 10 murders over the last 20 years. Like, complete detail. Right?
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah. Next to her journal, too, she had, like, they said, I don't know what this means, but I'm saying Russian newspapers said this, so I don't know what Russian newspapers consider this, but they said that her journal was laying beside black magic and astrology books. So I'm like, what's black magic?
So they're thinking she's... Yeah, it's like the occult.
Ooh.
Black magic.
Yeah.
I think she's part of... Do you think she was, like, sacrificing people?
I don't know. Like, and still, like, they haven't given much information, so it's going to be something like the Lori Vallow case when we did it, because we did it kind of, a while ago. I'll keep updating and stuff. And follow our stories, because that's where I do it, but, like, I think it's going to be something like that. Well, let's get a little bit more
And if she's an
pieces.
old witchy grandma?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like, why is she killing him?
Boiling heads and shit.
Exactly. And what's kind of cool, which I thought was like a little tidbit, but I thought it was cool, is her diary entries that said all these were a mix of Russian, English, and German. I don't know why I like that little fact.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's cute.
Yeah.
It's cute.
It's cute.
Das ist cute.
Cute. Yeah.
Das ist cute, ja.
Yeah.
Sorry, my drink's kicking in a little bit.
I'm glad I started. It's always nice to be the starter because by the end you're just terrible.
Because now I'm just going back to, I was in a German class in like late middle school, maybe early high school, and I only remember a song. Was it Ich dem, ja, Logo, ja, something. It's like my name is something. Ich bin cool, ja, Logo, ja. I don't even remember
You did
what it
take
means
German
anymore.
too? I forgot about that. You were one of the few people that chose German. Everybody chose Spanish or
Right.
French.
I would totally choose German if that was an option.
I just liked
That's
it because it
awesome.
was like it just sounds so upset, you know?
Yeah. It's like, I love you. It's like, oh, yeah.
It's a very intense
It's
language.
like, make sure, I saw this meme, it said, if you love someone, make sure you tell them in German because you can love them, but life is also scary and terrifying or something.
My husband,
that's German.
One of his best friends that he plays with, they meet a lot. He's German. Like, he's from Germany.
His lover.
His lover. They do. He is a hottie, too. I would watch it. But he's so cute. But, like, it's funny because he had his kids here one time during, like, one of our sanctuary events. And he, like, whispering to them in German. And I'm like, he just sounds like he's bitching out. It's probably, like, so nice. Like, hey, look at that cow over there. And he's like, I'm just like, shit. What'd you call me? Right? I'm just, like, so angry.
Like, hey, sweeties, do you want some cotton candy?
Yeah.
Spiders, you like please candy.
I'm like, shit.
I think it's a really cool language.
It is cool.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
It is.
It is super cool. So
We're saying that on behalf of all of our German and Russian listeners.
yeah,
Because Russian's pretty intense, too.
it is. It is really intense. But it is a cool language. It's super
Yeah,
cool.
also super cool.
So I'm going to quote a little bit of Tamara's diary because we don't have too much yet. But one quote they have out is, I killed my tenant, cut him to pieces in the bathroom with a knife, put the pieces of his body in plastic bags, and threw it away. And not only that, between accounts of, like, all these killings, she would have, like, little phrases about her day, like, drank coffee, slept badly. Which I love.
Okay, wait. We need to rewind.
Yeah.
And I'm going to request a performative reading of her diary. As if you are Tamara,
Ooh.
Tamara,
Ooh, then I
however
have to
you
get
say her
angry.
name.
I have actually not heard her talk. Let's see. I'll do my voice.
All about her tenant. All right. Tell us, Tamara.
I killed my tenant, cut him to pieces in the bathroom with a knife, put the pieces of its body in a plastic bag, and threw them away.
Oh,
see.
that was good.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was good. Thank you. It really brought me in there.
It brought you there. You felt it.
Yeah.
You felt it.
I could smell the blood.
But that's all they've released, guys. That's all they've released, sadly.
That's all. The end.
I hope they bring more. They're going into records. We're slowly getting a little bit more. The police said they obviously can't rule out further charges, but have admitted difficulties to, like, proving any of the murders that she has written in her books. Because, you know, if there's no human remains, how are they supposed to know? So they started going back into records, and of course they're finding all these bodies that have been found right next to her. So they found So they found a headless, armless, and legless man body that was found on the same exact street as hers 12 years earlier, but she was never charged. But then they went into her apartment, guys, recently. They found his business card in her apartment. So, case closed there. I know it's circumstantial, and it's hearsay. It is hearsay.
Dancer.
Hearsay.
You think he... Okay, I can't remember... There's some true crime story, I don't remember what it is, but a girl had been kidnapped and she had the foresight to leave. It may have been something like a business card, but she left it. Like, she was able to get it and slipped it under the couch as her, like, her way of being like, I was here. Yeah. And that's how they pinned him.
Smart. I know that I think you know this story, Nicole. I don't know if I've shared it on the podcast, but sorry if I have. But I had a babysitter that I actually absolutely loved. I knew she was a sex worker. She actually was a sex worker on our street, but she was a babysitter. And she, like, taught me about music, like, really good music. Like, loved her. She was really attentive and stuff. All of a sudden, she wasn't coming anymore.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Oh, I was like, I can get that in. Hold on.
She was. You just walked right into that one. Sorry.
I did. So all of a sudden, she didn't show up. And then we found out on the news that her and her boyfriend had, like, tied a woman to a chair, fully tortured her, like, electrocuted her all day, like, cut off her hair, everything. But this girl was smart enough, when her hair was falling out, she took her hair and was placing it places, like, under chairs and everything like that, to leave her DNA.
Shoving it in the couch and shit.
And that's how that they were caught. But, like, my mind was, like, blown as a little girl, because he was, like, the sweetest.
Yeah.
But,
wow. That's scary.
Yeah, but that kind of reminds me.
I wonder what maybe that lady was just, like, a piece of shit. She was being, like, a vigilante.
Right? You never know. You never know. But totally reminds me of that. So it could have been that. Maybe that's why the card was there. Or maybe Tamara was just like a lot of serial killers where they like to keep little trophies. You never know. We don't know yet. So during Tamara's first court appearance, and you guys can watch this, all she does is like she's blowing kisses at the reporters and like smiling and waving like she looks like this sweet little grandma. But they found so much evidence in her flat, and like had all this, and she even said herself to the judge, like, I have been preparing for this trial for 10 years. Like, she's been waiting for, she's pretty much like, I have been waiting for so long to get caught. I've been preparing for my defense, and like, they just didn't catch her.
Wow.
They didn't catch her. So she,
slick old lady.
Yeah. So she was found mentally incompetent because she's in a country that's not America. So she was insane. So luckily she didn't have to stand trial for that. So in December 2015, she was sent for psychiatric treatment, and she's in a specialized hospital, and she'll be there probably for the rest of her life. And a lot of the reason I probably didn't find a lot of that is because they're keeping those records closed. Completely fine. Completely understand. If there's more stuff, we'll let you know, but it could be because she's just getting care right now. And then maybe we'll know more. She says she had at least 10 victims, but they've never fully probed it yet, and it still remains open. So for the next following months, the more information that comes to light, we'll know. But one of the biggest ones that they've just found out is that Tamara was actually eating her victims.
Oh, we got a little cannibalism.
Yes. So when I talked about...
When was that update?
Recently. Like very recently.
This year or last year?
Absolutely.
Wow.
She allegedly was removing the lungs of her victims and then ate them that way. It could make sense why she was boiling. It probably helped her eat, but not only, hide her stuff.
Y'all, this is sounding witchier and witchier.
She could be a little witch.
If
you never know.
She's eaten lungs for certain spell work, maybe.
Right?
Maybe she had emphysema and she was like, if I eat these lungs, I will be fixed.
Yeah. Maybe she will, because she actually, if you see pictures of her, which obviously we'll post and everything, she looks pretty young, lively, and sweet. Like, even, when she's sitting there and, blowing kisses, and, she seems like a really nice person. She seems really sweet. So they do believe she has schizophrenia. She does say, because after her husband left her, she said she was 2 months in and out of a hospital. So it could be something like that, is what I'm assuming. For that. So there's not much words, but I love this little thing that she said. So while in custody, she told journalists, I knew you would come. It's such a disgrace for me. All the city will know. I was already getting ready for this court action for dozens of years. It was all done deliberately. There's no way to live. With this last murder, I close the chapter. So the judge asked her, I am asked to arrest you. What do you think? And she replied, Your Honor, after all, I am guilty and I deserve a punishment. Yep. And when he announced that she'll be held in custody, she smiled and clapped her hands. And that is the story of Tamara Samsonova.
Tamara Samsonova.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Never heard of her. Never heard of her.
Right? They're really keeping this one kind of down low, because you would think a woman who had murdered at least that many people, and who was just that deliberate, that out there, a cannibal.
And that age.
That age. You think it would be a big story, but they're really keeping it in wraps. But I wanted to keep it in wraps, and I think I told her a little bit, but not much of the story when I was doing it. I'm wondering if it's because that country has respect for people with mental illness and are in hospitals. Maybe it's different than just a regular out there type of deal with that story, which would make sense. So I'll let you guys know if I know more information. But
because this is all pretty recent. That is surprising. Yeah, that's a good theory, though, that they're just more respectful of people's fucking HIPAA and shit.
Absolutely. And if you're declared insane, I mean, that's a lot different than just going out and. I mean, you do have a little insanity if you're murdering people, especially in a serial killer level, but it is a whole different thing. And I don't know if it happened because of after her husband leaving her, she just lost it or what. But who knows? She could have always had it.
That's true. Yeah. I forgot about that. I forgot about her husband, and we had, before I learned anything.
But did he leave or did she murder? Because she Hill's not admitted to that murder. It's not in her diary. So that's why when I was saying it, like, people are saying she murdered him, like, it is out there. But I'm still kind of 50-50. It could be either or.
Maybe he was terrified of her and was like, I ain't resurfacing.
Right?
Yeah.
That could
Who
be
knows?
it too. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Creepy. And how old was she?
She was like, I think she's like 76 now.
Okay.
I believe, yeah. So she's an older lady.
So she was in her 60s, 70s.
But guys, she looks good. So look at her. And she's like super sweet and smiley and like waving at people. Like,
She kind of looks like my grandma.
She does look like your grandma.
It's so
Doesn't she
funny
a little
because I
bit?
actually was picturing Myrtle while she talked about it. Just remember when we went to like bingo with her
Yeah.
a million years ago?
Cute, right?
No, she's creepy to me.
I think she's cute. You're like, she's creepy. I'm like, she's cute.
She's creepy. Yeah, no, she looks like my paternal grandmother. What? So it says known as. So what was with the Baba Yaga part? Because Baba Yaga is a sort of mythical fairy tale type situation. Is it just like a?
That's like her Russian. You know how we have serial killer names? Like ours is a Granny Reaper that we have for her here, but theirs is like Baba Yaga. That's what they call her.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I'm just curious why they connected her with the Baba Yaga, because I'm trying to think of the Baba Yaga's story.
Here,
we talked about her briefly. Oh, the witch part. Yep.
Well, they said that like there was a lot of black magic stuff in her house. I wonder if it was, in her mind at least, some sort of ritual. Would be very interesting.
That's what I'm thinking. After you mentioned that those books were out, she's boiling heads, she's eating lungs and livers and shit. It sounds very witchy, so it makes sense that they would call her something like the Baba Yaga. Like, they're not saying she is the Baba Yaga, but it's like, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I get that.
absolutely. So, Tamara, hope you're doing okay. Hello. And hope we hear more from you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we go on, I have a question for you because Courtney had a really good question that she was like, that we were talking about. And I'm like, I want to ask Nicole this because, and I would love everyone's answer for it. We'll put that out there. If aliens came down and said, take me to your leader, who would you take them to?
And I actually, the reason why I brought this question up, I had watched a podcast with Neil deGrasse Tyson. And he was talking about it. And it was just really interesting. So, yeah, I asked her, I was like, I just love this question.
That is a good question. I've never heard that question before. Who did he choose? Did he say, like, who he would bring
Well, he
him to?
said, and he was basically saying, like, you wouldn't to, like, some political figure. You would be, hopefully, like, a scientist, you know, would be who you would go to.
Like, I wouldn't think leader and, like, bring him to Trump.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Let's just bring him to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
See, and that's what I said. I was like, that's funny, because I think I would choose you.
Yeah. Take me to your leader. I'd probably have a lot more questions. Like, do you mean like local government leader? Do you mean like county?
Yeah.
See, I'm like one of those people. I'd be like, "Who's my leader?" I'm like, "Me." Like,
My daughter.
you want to talk to me? Oh yeah, my daughter. She kind of controls me.
I know we asked her daughter, and she was like, Mom. That was her answer. I was like, that's good. Yeah. Bring him to Mom.
Good answer. Good answer.
Just ask Violet and see what she gets.
Yeah.
I should. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys think of it, go ahead to our socials and comment right now. Tell us who you would bring. I want to hear everybody's answer.
Absolutely.
Take me to your leader. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's good. I love that. Mm-hmm. Love it.
Love it.
All right. Well, now that I'm over halfway done with my cocktail, I'm ready to dive in.
We were drinking tequila earlier. Now we're drinking whiskey. So we're doing good. And I've been smoking bowls this whole time.
I'm sure you guys know that I'm drinking tequila.
Yep.
I actually forgot to tell everybody that I made myself my own themed drink for tonight.
Oh, what
but
is
it's
it?
so particular that I figured nobody would want to drink it. So I wasn't going to like put it out there. So you've heard of a screwdriver.
Yep.
Right? This is a poo driver.
Okay.
It's tequila and prune juice.
Okay.
And a little squirt of lemon. Ooh. And then I homemade my own little, like, prune juice grenadine.
Nice. We'll post. We gotta post that. We gotta post that.
You have to post that.
Yeah.
A poo driver. Yeah.
Poo driver.
A
That is
tequila
a
poo
beautiful
driver.
name for a beautiful drink.
And it does look like you're drinking shit. It does look like diarrhea water. So that's beautiful.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. But you know what? I love me some goddamn prunes. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
I love a prune. It's nature's candy. That's what I say every time. So delicious.
They are so good.
And it helps keep you regular.
Yeah. Do you know what's crazy? I have not yet made a homemade vegan. You got
Just listen it.
You know what? We really put facts out there. Saving the planet one fact at a time.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What's really weird is, like, with vegan cheesecake, like, I look up recipes. I have not made a homemade vegan cheesecake yet. But surprisingly, because vegan, like, cream cheese that you get from the store vegan, you know this, Nicole, and you might know this, is it's kind of just weird. It's not, it's great. It tastes good, like, on a bagel, but, like, on certain recipes, not right.
Doesn't translate.
But somehow and I've had them, and it's so good that you make the cream cheese out of prunes and dates.
Weird.
And it's supposed to taste just like cream cheese. And it has, because I've had it. And it is white. I don't know how they do it.
How the hell do they take the color out?
I don't know. But supposedly it's like, and I have it, again, I've had it made.
You got to make it.
Yeah, but like, how interesting is that, right?
That's really cool.
Prunes and dates, guys.
That'll keep you regular, too.
Absolutely. That's what's fun about vegan food. Get those fun little ingredients.
Vegan poops. I told you we always talk about poop.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I have to pause in the middle of this story because I've down a whole
You're gonna be so regular. It's gonna be great.
2 servings of prune juice.
We should have got some
Because-
Depends for this episode.
Right?
And then you wouldn't have to
That
go
would have been
anywhere.
good. I thought about dressing like a little granny, but it was very last minute. But I got my prune cocktail.
Right?
It's very granny.
We were trying to figure
So-
out what to dress her in when you saw her, like a way to dress her sexy, what to do. And then Juice and I have, like, we both have old people outfits still here, because I was trying to convince Juice during Christmas to dress like an old person with me during bingo, but he refused, even though I got all this stuff. So I'm like, I have so much old
Loser.
people stuff. We should have old people. Thank you. Thank you.
Loser.
Who doesn't want to go to bingo and see 2 old people calling bingo? And cute little old people.
No.
I even had it planned because I have a walker upstairs that I was going to put, like, a little fanny pack in front to hold the money when I'm going out and, like, giving everyone their cards.
yeah.
I had...
Don't forget the tennis balls at the bottom of the
Oh, yeah,
walker.
it already has the tennis balls on it. And I was just like, Juice, how nice would that be? Just, like, me walking around and be like, what do you need?
The next
What do
best
you
thing is
need?
children dressed as old people. I
Right?
love that.
That's what
Love
she was just
seeing
saying.
that.
It's so
Oh,
cute.
it's the best. I think I have a whole Pinterest board of them.
Oh.
Not to be creepy.
I have a Pinterest board of children.
I have a Pinterest board of children dressed like the elderly.
We were talking about that, though, like little, like, you know, your girls' age in, like, pantsuits, like, all professional, like, how cute. Or a little cardigan.
Yeah. Also,
Jeez,
Yes.
how cute.
So cute. I love it when Violet wears a cardigan. I'm like, yeah, girl. She did today. And I'm like, you look good.
Aw,
You look good.
my kid's madness. Like, I let Ella dress whenever she wants, obviously. Like, she doesn't even, I don't get to, like, pick out her clothes now. And she just, like the other, what she wore yesterday, she had, like, one of her regular, so she had, like, one of my socks on with her regular socks. Like, she's just, I'm just, like, looking, I'm like, you're falling apart. Like, today, I'm like, you gotta brush your hair.
Didn't she want to wear the same outfit, too, today?
I'm just like, man, I'm like, I
for
like
her.
I try to let her do what she wants, but then some days, like today, I'm like, you gotta take a bath. We're gonna bath. We're gonna.
I know. Yeah. You're
Looking a
like,
little
I don't
crusty.
want the teacher
Yeah.
sending a note home. Like,
Yeah.
your kid needs to bathe.
I want you to be yourself.
Yeah.
But there's certain things you gotta do.
All right. I'm going to take another
Right.
suck down of this prune poo driver cocktail so that I can dive in. I'm telling you guys, it's so good. It's really good.
It sounds good.
Okay. Our next killer granny is none other than Nannie Doss, also known as the Lonely Hearts Killer, the Giggling Granny, and the Jolly Black Widow. So, let's get in.
And
Ready?
she's adorable. Yes.
Buckle up. She's adorable. She actually reminds me of my Grandma Myrtle a little bit. Okay. So Nannie Doss was born Nancy Hazel on November 4th of 1905 in Blue Mountain, Alabama. So she's a local girl, which is fun. I didn't actually plan that. She just happens to be in the same state as me.
Yeah.
So 1905, we're in Alabama, which is kind of by Anniston. She had a pretty tough childhood, Nannie did. She was the middle child in a family of 5, and her early life was really just kind of a pile of shit. Like, her father seemed to really pick on her specifically, and there are rumors that he might not even have been her biological father, which would explain why he seemingly kind of had a target on her back compared to her siblings. Just like super bitter about her being alive. So he was super strict. He forced her and her siblings to do chores and work on the farm, which really kept them out of school for really long bouts, which stunted them academically, of course. You know, you can't just keep your kids out of school and expect them to be.
That was so normal back then. It's so interesting, like, that they would be like, okay, kids are off during harvest season and all that. I think that's actually why they do it where kids usually go to school in the winter and then they're off during the summer. I believe was actually originally from farming schedules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense. I never even thought about it. I was like, yeah, they just need a fucking break.
Yeah. No, it was like a farming schedule thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Need those little hands for gardening.
Those little tiny
You're not
hands.
minings. We got to get you in the garden.
So yeah, she was working in the field a lot. She didn't go to school a lot. Her dad was just a dick. I'm going to trigger warning everybody a little bit for sexual assault. So if this bothers you, you can skip ahead a little bit. Just a second.
I'll put
sure
marks too.
Guess.
I don't know if anyone's noticed, but if you ever look in our show notes or everything, or if you want to just like, hey, I'm here for just this, just look in our show notes. I've been putting them. I've been trying to keep everything scheduled, and if there are stuff like this, I'll make sure to put that in there too, so you know where to skip
Perfect.
around. Yep.
That's super helpful now. Thank you for starting to do that.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, you can only skip ahead like 20 seconds. This won't take long. She, on top of that rigid home life, she was also molested by not only her uncle, but her cousin as well. And her dad was just a total dick about it. Like, didn't really believe her. And when they would talk about it, he would blame her if it really happened. Like, quit looking like a slut kind of shit. So, total dickwad. Nobody liked him. Thankfully, her mother seemed to be relatively stable, though, and was thought to be really kind and loving to her kids. And she also kind of hated her husband, so there's that. Like, just nobody liked him. So, I don't think he was very nice to her either. He was just a douche canoe. So
sounds great. Sounds like a great gentleman. Yeah.
Right. And he's just some poor dirt farmer with a bad attitude. Like, where do you get off, buddy? Like,
he's a white man. You guys, that's the confidence. That's all that's the highest confidence out of anyone. You could be the shittiest, but the confidence is here.
Yep. With a bunch of bullshit.
Sorry for white men that are listening, but if you get mad about this, you're mad because you have confidence right now. So fuck off.
Gonna knock you down a peg.
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So as a young girl, Nannie, she really, obviously didn't have much freedom. She had a little bit of an oopsie daisy that may have changed the course of her life, like forever, at only 7 years old. She was on the train, and when it braked, like, I heard that a tree may have fallen on the tracks. And so the train suddenly braked, and she went flying forward and smashed her head into the like metal seat bar in front of her, which caused like severe headaches, blackouts, and just sort of an overall shift in her whole disposition.
Really?
Like, she went from being like a pretty kind and timid girl, she was only 7, to like immediately having like a really rotten attitude and treating her siblings kind of shitty. So like something got knocked a little wonky when that happened.
I did not know that about her.
Yeah. So she hit her noggin. And you know what we say, we've talked about this briefly about brain injuries, about how there's absolutely evidence that a head injury can shift a person's whole demeanor.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of cases.
You hear that?
One of the most famous ones, the Night Stalker. Richard Ramirez.
Oh.
Didn't he have a conch? I think he had an injury that affected his brain that may have caused.
There's a
possibly.
lot, like, and then you hear about it in sports, like Aaron Hernandez, Chris Benoit. Yeah, they had bad ones. What was the other? Oh, actually, someone that's really famous, Roseanne Barr. She had a head injury, and she said that like completely shaped, and you can kind of see that in her. She can kind of go off and like on those things, but it can really change people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, can't fuck with the brain. It was too complicated up there. So yeah, along with all that, she wasn't very popular. She wasn't allowed to go to dances or social events of any kind. Her father forbade her from dating boys and wearing makeup of any kind or dressing in any sort of like, I want to say attractive clothes, but not necessarily even sexy clothes, just like clothes that she feels good in. Like she basically was like, just put on a potato sack. Yeah. Yeah. You don't need to wear pants. Just wear a sack. Sack potatoes. So yeah, obviously she was lonely. She found solace in actually reading some of her mother's romance novels and her romance magazines, which featured the Lonely Hearts column, which I'm sure you can imagine what that is. People looking for love.
Oh my God, I miss that. Like, I know that there's like dating apps and stuff, but there's something like so sweet and romantic about like answering an ad in a newspaper. Like seeing an ad in a newspaper and be like, oh, I connect to that. And like, I don't know, I love it.
It was cute.
It was so much more, I say simple, but it actually did make it a lot more complicated. But the idea was simple.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can you believe we used to like check the paper for like movie showtimes?
Right?
Like, let's check the paper, see when this is showing. It feels so long ago.
I miss it though. Like every Sunday, my grandma and grandpa, that was one thing, like they would always sit together at the table and like go through ads and like circle like coupons. Like that was like a huge thing. And then we'd always read the paper and stuff. And like I always loved it.
It was an activity.
It was great. It would take like a while too, because she would like actually spend the money to get like the bigger, like the good stuff. Because she'd save so much money and
like
stuff.
Like the big Sunday issue.
Yeah, it was like a half a day event to get through that newspaper.
It was. That's what it was. It was an event. It was an activity that you did. The papers here were busy for the next hour.
Yep. It was our internet before the internet.
Check the obituaries. I always read them, even as a child, too.
Oh, me too.
Like, just seeing who's dead. Don't know any of them.
I have, like, a crazy amount of my dad's obituary newspapers. Like, I don't know why my grandma went to the store and just, like, when my dad died, like, it was like, he was in the newspaper, like, it was famous. I'm like, it's his obituary.
She got, like, 12 copies of it.
She got, like, packs. You would go and get all the stuff, and then, like, no, I have them. And I'm like, what? Why are we doing this?
Why do we need this many?
I randomly forget about him, and like every once in a while, like every few years where I like go through that drawer, I'm like, oh, fucking all these obituaries of my dad, newspapers.
It's a drawer full of dad's obituaries.
Well, so if anyone ever needs to read that issue over here.
You got it.
Gotcha.
Yep. So Lonely Hearts column. Misconnections Craigslist, basically. Looking for love. They're looking for love. Unfortunately, the escape her novels provided were just a temporary comfort, because in 1921, at the age of 16, her father surprisingly allowed her to marry her first husband, Charles Bragg, whom she met at the Linen Thread Company only 4 months earlier, which is kind of wild for him being like, oh, you can't be with anybody. And then he was like, all right, marry this guy. And you're 16.
Doesn't it seem so normal when it comes to those type of parents, the ones that like shelter their kids and then all of a sudden it like, then they just like pimp them out instantly, just like one person.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird.
Yep.
It's a weird one. How old do we know?
I'm sure
he was. Was he an older person or what?
I don't
remember
remember how old he
old?
is. She was 16. I imagine he was probably in his 30s, 40s.
Yeah. Ugh.
That's just a guess, but...
Yeah.
For that time period, for sure.
Well, and remember, he was like, you're probably not my kid anyway, so I'm sure at some point he was like, oh, wait a second, why am I trying to keep her here? Let's just marry her off, and that's one less mouth to feed, you know? So she knew this kid for 4 months at this company, Charlie Bragg. I think they're about the same age.
Oh,
And she's thinking like,
wait, I thought Charlie was like 30, 40.
no, I thought you asked her about how old her dad was.
Oh, she's like, and then she's like, he's like 30, 40. Anyway, this young kid, you know, like the same age. I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay, let me take
Sorry,
some
guys.
more my prune juice.
Sorry.
No, I think her dad's 30 or 40s.
Okay.
Charlie Bragg, first husband, he's around 16. He may be a little older, like up to like 18 or 19, but they're still, you know, they're in their teens. They're young. So she's thinking like, sweet, I married this cute guy. I finally get to escape this super strict household and have my own life. But no, not really. She came home from her wedding night and she comes to find out that it's not just going to be the two of them living in their wedded bliss. They've got a roommate. And it's the best roommate of all. Can you guess who it was?
Dun, dun, dun.
Her mother-in-law. Woo! Twist. So she's got to live with her fucking mother-in-law as a newlywed.
She didn't know until.
Gross.
She didn't know it right
No.
until. Oh, that
Literally
sucks.
the wedding night, she goes home to like, you know, let's get it on. I'm trying to think of the word. What do you do when you have to...
You
what
mean
do they
just
call
the
it when you
word
fuck
sex?
on your wedding?
Oh,
She's like,
no,
you know,
like after marriage,
when you
they-
fuck
they
on your
say,
wedding.
like, what's it?
Consummate.
Consummate the marriage.
Consummate, yeah. Look at you. You go, girl. You got the word. They're coming home to consummate their marriage. And she's like, welcome home, honey. No.
She has like a grilled
So-
cheese sandwich made on the table for him, like cut. That'd be sweet though.
Yeah.
I'd be like, thanks. I'm like, you can stay here.
It's not for her, though. It's just, she just made one for her son.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So this woman ends up being just as strict as her fucking father, though. Like, she didn't let them do jack shit. She hated Nannie reading those romance, like, magazines and the newspaper area. She forbade it. She thought it was as bad as cheating on her husband. Which is like, dude, come on. So she rarely had company. She wouldn't even let Nannie's own mother stay for too long. Like, if she stayed, like, a little too late, she's like, all right, get on out of here. So, obviously sounds like hell on earth.
Yeah.
But they somehow still managed to, you know,
Get it
hop
on.
under the sheets, get it on, have the cigs. And they have 4 daughters, one every year between 1923 and 1927.
Oh my god, that sounds
Boom, 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 boom.
awful.
Sounds terrible.
Sounds
Yeah.
awful.
Yep. And check these names out, okay? The names of her kids. All girls, again. Melvina,
Okay.
Gertrude, Zelmer, and Florine.
Whoa.
I
That's
like
some
it.
names. Yeah, those are some 20s names for sure.
I love the name Gertrude and Gertie. Yes, I
Gertie.
I really wanted that for Ellen. I threw it out there as like, let's see. But Mark's like, no.
Mark's like, no.
I'm like, little
no.
Gertie.
That's so cute.
Isn't that the
Gertie.
cutest?
She would
That's what I would
kill
want,
you.
little Gertie.
Kill you later on.
That's how you get murdered later on.
That is a classic old lady name. That's like top 5 old lady name.
It's so
Gertrude.
cute.
Gertie or Trude. Is that, where did Trudy come from? Is Trudy a real name or is that like a short for something like Gertrude?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Right?
That would be
Never
cool
thought
if it
of
was
that.
short for that.
That is a good, yeah.
Trudy. Because we've all, you know, you've heard of a Trudy.
Yeah.
There's no Trudys around anymore. I think
No.
I've met one.
Yeah.
But everybody knows one.
Ooh, you're looking it up?
I sure am.
We're getting a look up.
I was going to say Trudy Bloom, but that's Judy Bloom. What is Trudy short for?
Yeah.
Trudith.
Oh, it
Gertrude.
is. Look at you.
For Gertrude? I'm just a regular old detective.
Yeah, it originally came from Gertrude, and now it's developed into a name of
Yeah,
its
it is
own.
kind of its own.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
I like it. I like
Trudy,
Gertie better
Gertrude,
though. If you're
Gertie.
That's
Gertrude,
so cute.
do Gertie.
Gertie and Trudy.
Cute.
All right. That was interesting. Learn something new every day. I love a fun fact.
Fun fact.
That was a fun fact.
Yep.
Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of super weird names. So I just met a mom of another girl at Violet's school. And the other girl also happens to be named Violet. She's the only other Violet in the school. Her mom's name is Temperance.
Whoa.
Ooh, that's sexy.
Right? What a name.
I hope she's a big, broad woman.
Ooh, you like that?
She's not.
Oh.
She's actually like a athletic
Ooh, that's how I'm seeing
mom
it.
with a
But I
little,
was-
she's got a little
yeah.
nose ring. Yeah, Temperance.
She looks like a temperance.
Her sister's name is Boston. Like their whole family has weird. Like I immediately like grilled her and I was like, all right, what's with the name?
Yeah.
I need to know. It sounds super Southern. What are you? She's like, I got 5 siblings. I'm like, I need to know all of their names. She says she was almost named Echo and her sister's was almost Winter. And I was like, those are really cool names too. Her mom was a hippie. So that explains it. But anyway, her name like left me speechless for a second. I was like, I didn't know how to react when she said Temperance.
I don't know if I got lucky or not lucky with my mom, because my dad and mom like always talked about like how they named me. And like she's like, he was just throwing out like Zappa and like just like all these like Starbeam. You know, like my dad was like doing all that.
I would have loved that.
Right? But like, yeah, and they came up with Danielle at some point. But because my mom wanted all D names, which I don't know why she didn't name Jason D. She wanted to name him Dominic. But then she wanted to name me Patrice. That's just how I got my middle name, Aries. But yeah.
Oh, really?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Is
like,
that how you say it? Is Aries?
Aries.
I've always said Aries in my head.
Yeah, it's Aries.
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 Danielle.
Hey, Reese.
Aries. It is 2 A's. Aries.
Start barking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So was that DMX? Is DMX in the house? Oh, he's dead. I
I
forgot.
could
Sorry.
have been here with a crazy
So is he
name.
in the house? No.
He might be.
Here, let me ask.
Oh, that. Oh my god! I forgot what I was gonna say, but it was really. You really got me like.
I was watching her brain. I was just staring and
brain is
watching her
just like-
brain go boop, 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 boop.
nose diving.
We're losing her.
It was me. Oh, it was okay. This is what I was gonna say. You need to come up with an alternate drag persona named Zappa Starbeam,
Type of Starbeam.
Absolutely.
That
Yes.
is a good idea.
and it needs to have the Zappa mustache too, like the Frank Zappa mustache.
Well, that's what my dad had, which sometimes I
Yeah.
do, which you know, but sometimes certain drag characters I do, I look in the mirror and I'm like, I look just like my dad. I do. I can look somehow just like my dad. So that would totally be him.
All right, please someday you
I
have
will
to
do it.
introduce a
I'll do
Zappa
it for you guys.
Starbeam character.
Yep.
Okay,
I'll do it.
perfect.
Honor a dad.
All right.
R.I.P. Out.
All right, so we got Melvina, Gertrude, Selmer, and Florine. We got Temperance. We got Zappa Starbeam.
Everyone's welcome.
Everyone's here.
Yep.
Well, everyone's here. So anyway, this marriage to Charlie, it eventually turned pretty sour, as I bet you have guessed. They started arguing a lot. They started accusing each other of cheating. And he would disappear for days on end. So, you know, it's not unlikely that he was cheating. I don't think she was, but who knows? So they had these 4 daughters, but it was pretty tumultuous. Nannie was miserable. She starts drinking. She starts smoking and just kind of overall drowning in some destructive habits. But she was keeping it together as a mother. You know, she wasn't completely failing, but she was definitely like, fuck this bullshit. I got to check out for a little bit. So in 1927, she's 22. This girl's young. She's got these 4 girls, including her newborn, Melvina. And 2 of her babies, the middle girls, Gertrude and Zelmer, trigger warning, they died at just 1 and 2 years old. Both from suspected food poisoning after eating breakfast.
Oh
So-
my gosh.
Boom, boom. 2 of the 4 are now gone. And she's so young. Again, she's 22.
It's awful.
So, you know, some alarm bells started to go off in Charlie's head, though, because the dude got spooked. Like, it's thought that somebody maybe suspected her of killing their children.
Yeah.
Somebody thought that, he was warned like not to eat her food. And he was like, bro, you don't gotta tell me twice. And not long after that, he like grabbed their eldest daughter, Melvina, who's only like 3 or 4 at the time, and fled, leaving Nannie with just their newborn Florine.
So he truly believed she was poisoning their child and stuff?
Yeah, somebody planted that seed, like, you better not be eating shit she's putting out. Like, really, 2 of your kids food poisoned.
Can I just say why I think both these grannies went crazy just off the bat? Because of the men.
Yeah.
Both of them. Both of them had the shitty-ass men, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's always.
Yeah.
It's always.
These Grammys killed because of you guys. You told
they
girl
did.
power.
Yeah. They don't like that dick no more.
Like that dick.
Dick did them wrong.
You're an angry one.
Yuck. No, I just dropped the D.
Yeah.
So yeah, he leaves Nannie with just the baby, and he's like, Melvine, we're gone. Melvina, we out. Which is also like, really? Like, you're just gonna take one kid, leave, you go leave the baby?
That's where I'm like,
Guess
what
he didn't
is
have a
going
connection
on?
with her or something. I don't know.
Like, it's okay if you
So
poison the
anyway,
baby. That kid sucks, but I'll grab this one. Bye.
It's, yeah, whatever. So months pass. She ends up getting a job at a cotton mill to support her and Florine. And at some point during this time, her mother-in-law also dies. The one that was like living with them, and, because she's still there. Like, he left his newborn and his wife with his mother. Like, fuck
She
you.
just like, is she like a typical boy's mom where she's like, oh, he's such a good guy? Or is,
I'm sure. Boy mom.
Boy
I suspect she very much was, like we joked earlier, like, made your grilled cheese sandwich, but not you.
Yeah.
For my baby boy.
boy moms.
Yep.
They're the worst.
So I think she was older at the time, so it wasn't really suspicious at the time. She's dead, whatever, So a year after Charlie flees with Melvina, this bro shows back up at their house with some hoe and her kid and is like, here, take Melvina back. Peace out. And then he leaves. Goes off to just start a new life. Right? After having this kid a whole year, comes back. He's like, here you go. I'm out.
Grammy's killing for a reason. I'm saying.
Right?
They're losing
That's
it.
enough. That's enough right there.
He's losing it.
So now she's got Florine and she's got Melvina. They officially divorce. He says that it's because he was terrified of her, but I digress. The 3 girls head home to live with her mother. Since the mother-in-law died, they're like, we gotta go somewhere. So they go home. They live with mama. So let's scoot forward a year. So it's 1929. She's 24. She's still in her habit of reading her romance smut and poring over those Lonely Hearts columns. And what does she find? Her new beau. She connects with this guy named Robert Frank Harrelson. We'll just call him Frank. Robert Frank Harrelson. And he's seemingly pretty witty, and he's kind, and he writes poetry, and they send letters and poems and dirty pictures back and forth. And they decide to meet. They hit it off, and they get married like pretty immediately. Like, boom, boom, boom. It could have been
That must have
weeks
just
even.
been what it was back then. It's
Yeah,
just like,
didn't-
it's like, oh, I date you, you're fine. Let's go.
You're fine. Let's get married.
It seems like it was all just for really survival. You know what I
Absolutely,
mean?
yeah.
We're trying to, just a whole different world.
Well,
back
you have to
then.
realize, too, like, women back in the day, you couldn't have checking accounts, a lot of women.
Couldn't
you
wear
couldn't get
pants.
loans. There's a lot of things that you couldn't do. It kind of was a survival thing, right? Like, oh, there's a guy, maybe he has a job.
Yeah.
Like-
Provide and take care, and then I'll raise the children.
Yeah. What a
And poison
miserable
you, I
life.
guess. No, I just kidding.
Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty. I mean, it is. It's the common MO back
Yep.
then. So yeah, they decide to meet. They hit it off. They get married, and then they go live in Jacksonville together, along with Melvina and Florine. But unfortunately, a few months into their marriage, Nannie finds out that this Frank guy is not quite the gentleman that he touted himself to be. She finds out that he's a drunk and he's got a criminal record for assault and just pulled one over on her, which is easy if you only know him for a few months.
I was about to say, like, you don't know someone. Like, you have to live with them, be with them. Like, you don't know.
No. But despite this, her second marriage here with old Frank lasts for 16 years.
Ooh, wow.
So that's a long time to put up with that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. So maybe he got that good deal.
Yuck. Or ick.
Or yuck. So we're going to scoot forward again. This time we're going 14 years. So we're scooting up 2 years before their marriage ends. So again, they were together for 16. Let's scoot up to 14 years. So it's 1943. Nannie is about 38. Her now 19-ish-year-old daughter, Melvina, gives birth to her own child, Robert Lee Haynes. And 2 years later, another baby comes along. And this time it's a little girl. But unfortunately, she did not make it out of the hospital. The doctors could not come up with a reason or like an explanation for the infant's death. But a really nasty rumor took hold that, after she kind of suffered through labor, and it's worth noting back then she was coming down off of ether. Like you had a baby and the drugs you're getting ether. So she's kind of coming off ether, coming off these drugs. Melvina thought that she saw her mother Nannie, trigger warning, stab the fucking baby in the head with a hairpin.
Wow.
At the hospital right there.
So the daughter believes
when
that
she's
she saw
holding her.
that.
The daughter thinks she saw that. Mm-hmm. Now, there were corroborating accounts by another family member that they did see Nannie with a hairpin at some point. But nobody really did anything about this, Like, what the fuck? Like, I would be freaking out. Even if it was just a hallucination. Like, I would be making a stink about this.
Absolutely.
Like, totally. But obviously, how could if a doctor can't come up with a reason for the death of a baby, I feel like a hairpin would have been pretty obvious. Or like,
yes,
not necessarily blunt force trauma.
Autopsy or something, you feel like you figure it out. Like, you're just like, oh, died. I don't know what happened.
And is this baby not bleeding from being stabbed with a hairpin into the brain? Is there no marks? Like, so who knows? Again, this could have been a hallucination. It could have just been, just didn't survive childbirth. We don't really know.
But
so either way,
fishy. Yeah.
They don't come home with baby too. Everybody just ignores this hairpin theory, I guess. And so they go home empty-handed, I guess they got their other son, so they're not totally empty-handed, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to scope forward a little bit again, and 2 years later, Nannie was nannying. You see what I did there? This is nannying. So she was nannying her grandson, Robert, after she and Melvina had a really big argument. When he dies, all of a sudden, of sudden asphyxia of unknown causes. What? Like,
do we just,
again,
so that's murder.
Yeah. Do these people get away with stuff? Is it like, because, like, if they look a certain way or they live a certain life, they're just like, oh, it can't be them. And so if I can't find anything, and then, like, what? They're cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe with this one, sudden asphyxiation or a sudden asphyxia of unknown causes, maybe that's what they considered kind of like SIDS before SIDS was a real thing, maybe. But it was like a known thing. They just didn't really have a name for it or anything yet. So,
well, maybe it's like,
who knows again?
She was like thinking like, we can't have another baby because of like another mouse to feed or something too. And was just trying to take them out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they don't have that man that can work.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's probably just killing them right off the bat.
Well, and I will note that, so the argument that Nannie and her daughter had gotten into was supposedly about the fact that, so after the baby died in the hospital, there was a 2-year period before the one son died. And in that period, her and her husband things weren't going well. Like, I think the death of the baby really took a toll on them. Their marriage wasn't working out. And she started kind of dating a new guy. And Nannie did not like this. Like, she didn't like the idea of her starting to date. She didn't like the guy. And that's what they were arguing about. So who knows if she did kill her grandson, if, like, what the motive was. And her granddaughter, for that matter, what the motive would be. Maybe it was like, we don't need to bring these kids into this world with parents that are arguing and they're going to end up like me, and, you know, or maybe she's just psycho, or maybe she didn't do it. We just, you know, I don't know. We'll see. So, again, nobody's really that suspicious of this child's death. So, even though a few months later, Nannie received a $500 payout for a life insurance policy she apparently took out on her grandson at some point. So that's always a little bit of a...
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Yes.
So, yeah. Who knows? And again, this was in the 40s. So I don't know if taking life insurance policies on people like your grandchildren were common or not. I'm just telling you what I know.
It's weird.
So
You're fucking hearsay. Fucking hearsay. Hearsay.
Hearsay.
Hearsay. Hearsay.
All right. So now it's 1945. Nannie's 40. She's seen her fair share of death, obviously. 2 out of 4 of her own children are dead. Her ex-mother-in-law is dead. Both of her grandchildren are dead. And her marriage to her 16-year marriage is just crumbling. So things aren't super great, but, you know, she's chugging along. It is a crisp, cool evening in September, and her husband, Frank, had a few too many at the pub in celebration of the end of the war, and he stumbles home and tries to get a little frisky with Nannie, and she's like, dude, no, go sleep it off. Like, get the fuck out of here. And he's all like, no, give me some poo, Nannie. And Courtney liked it.
Killed it.
Yep.
That was
Get it?
amazing.
You get it?
We're both wet over here. It was like swoosh. Like a river.
I need a towel.
I know. I see that those big wet marks on your mattresses right now.
Yep.
Just bubbles start going by and we're swimming.
So, yeah. So he's like, let's get it on. She's like, fuck off. Trigger warning. I'm sure you can guess what happens. He goes ahead and helps himself, and he rapes her like a fucking douchebag. So the next day, she's gardening, and while digging in the dirt, she found a bottle of booze that he was hiding from her in the dirt. And she was like, oh, fuck no. Like, this is the last straw. Like, I'm done. You're raping me. You're hiding booze. Fuck that. So she goes and she slips a little rat poison in his moonshine, and then she reburies it for him to find on his own.
So that's deserved. Sorry.
Right? Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. So guess who keels over from suspected food poisoning later that evening?
Bye.
Yep. It was old garden digging moonshine hiding Frank. Yep. He's dead.
And this was after their divorce was final, you said, right? Or no?
No, her divorce was final with her first husband.
Oh, okay. So they weren't
This
divorced,
is second
though.
husband.
Oh,
they
okay,
weren't
got it,
divorced.
got it.
Things were rough, but yeah, no. So
Okay.
she's officially a widow.
This was the
now.
quick meeting
Okay.
on the newspaper guy.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. Yep. So she's a widow, or a black widow, should we say? So she moves on to the Lonely Hearts column again after this husband dies. She's got a little pattern now. This is where she's going for love. This time she's traveling through North Carolina, and she meets a guy named Arlie Lang. Arlie. That's an interesting name. Arlie. Arlie.
I like that. Cute too. Oh, older names are so cute.
Arlie. I can't imagine screaming that out during
Arlie.
So.
You got it.
Arlie. Oh, Arlie.
Well, we know what your noises are. So dainty like Holly.
Arlie.
Yours are rough.
Okay.
Oh.
Arlie.
Get in there, Arlie. Get her down there, buddy.
Arlie. All right. Okay, so she meets old Arlie Lanning through this column, and she marries him 3 days later.
Whoa.
3 days.
You
Girls
said you
fast.
fell in love quick, right? I think
not
this lady
like
has
that.
you beat.
She fast.
I would have said
That's
no
all I
at
can
least.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever, you go, Glen Coco. So much like her deceased husband, Frank, this dude wasn't like a good egg either. He was a womanizer. He was an alcoholic. But this time, Nannie was like the one who was disappearing for months on end this time.
Good
so
for
she was
her.
probably going out, getting it. Was like, you can stay home. So now this case was a little difficult because there were tons of conflicting reports. Every podcast seemed to have a different, like slightly different version, slightly different dates, slightly different victim count. It was very hard to nail down anything concrete. So I'm going to tell you, after researching tons of different articles and trying to narrow down which ones had seemingly the same matching information. That's what I'm prefacing with. So
Hearsay.
it's hearsay.
Hearsay.
But either way, it's not really pertinent to the story which happened first. So to not confuse you, I'm just going to go say it in the most like unspecific way possible I can without taking away from the events. So sometime between 1950 and 1952, when Nannie's around 45, 46, maybe 47 years old, seemingly on one of her little disappearances from her husband, Arlie, Nannie visits her bedridden sister, Dovey, which also I love that name, Dovey.
Love it.
And Dovey kicks the bucket shortly after Nannie's visit. But again, she was bedridden. She did have cancer. So it's like, hey.
Don't see suspicious.
All
Don't
these
be
are like,
suspicious.
She also visits her mother-in-law around this time, Arlie's mother, and she dies as well, but supposedly in her sleep. And then, you guessed it, Arlie himself bites the dust. So Nannie is done with his drinking and his attitude, and she decides to slip some rat poison into his breakfast of coffee and prunes.
There's the prune. There it is.
And he died of what was listed as heart failure. And at the time, a nasty flu was also going around, and he was known to be a drinker, and the doctor really had zero suspicions at all.
Absolutely.
It's like, poor Arlie, you know?
I'm trying to think of a breakfast of coffee and prunes. Like, do you just have a bowl of prunes and you're just like, have a coffee?
Or is it like a
Fucking
cereal
breakfast of
situation?
champions.
Yeah.
That sounds like my kind of breakfast.
Right?
Coffee and prunes. I'm getting ready to shit my brains out.
That's all I'm doing today.
Bricks.
I got one plan.
Bricks. Right?
I got one plan. He wouldn't plan on going anywhere.
No.
So, doctor had no suspicions. And in fact, the local community actually rallied around her with their sympathy quite a bit during this time. You know, she was looked at as the doting housewife who just lost her husband, a widow for the second time, you know, just had bad luck. So people were like, oh my God, poor Nannie. Can't believe her husband died.
And she's so cute.
It's just so cute.
She's so cute.
And so the quote unquote bad luck kept coming because not long after, the house that they lived in burned to the ground. And the house was actually left to Arlie's sister had it not burned down. But since it burned down, Nannie got the insurance money. So,
Did she burn it down herself?
maybe. This insurance money just happens to be just right time, right place. Yep. But again, it's not thought that she killed for money, though. It's just kind of like a little perk, a little side perk.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's 1952. It's not too long after this house burns down and Arlie dies. Nannie decides to up her dating game a little bit, and she joins the Diamond Circle Club, where she meets her fourth husband, Richard Morton, who she marries that same year, because that's her MO. She,
Right away.
Yep, she falls fast. Now, this time her husband isn't drowning in the bottle, but he is drowning in pussy. He is a player. So
Nice.
she really picks the winners, I tell you.
Well, okay, let's be honest. Like, even
You gave him a couple days. How much can you know about someone?
Well, even if, like, let's say I'm a stand-up person. You're the most stand-up person. I'm a stand-up person. You just met someone who's perfect for you. Like, they're just, everything's perfect. You're stand-up. Would you still marry that person in 2 days? Like, have you ever been with someone where you felt that? Like, I loved Mark a lot. Quick. Like, 2-3 days, though, we're like, let's marry, put our life together, and our houses, and our finances, and our life.
See, for me, I can maybe like fall kind of fast,
Yeah.
but
different.
you can't really fully tell unless you've been through something terrible with someone. You can't really tell, I think, a real person until you guys have been through something. So,
Going through
so
some
to me,
shit.
it depends on what happens to you guys. So it could be, you know, quick. Could be a couple
But, like,
years.
3
but-
days?
No, not 3 days.
Yeah, like,
I don't
days.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
3 days quick. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know what
3
that
days.
conversation would be like. You go on a date, you're just like, hey, do you want to get married in like 2 days?
Right.
Like, what's that conversation?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he was bringing a dowry to the table.
Yeah, for sure.
He just
Although
comes
it's
to the
technically,
first
typically
date
the women.
Yeah.
with a bag of cash.
Yeah. She brought herself a cow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. 3 days, she was like, cool, let's do this again. So he's a player. This, you know, what did we say this year? This was about 52, so it wasn't long after, you know, this other husband died. Nannie's mother decides to come live with them pretty quickly after they get married because Nannie's father dies. Boo-hoo, piece of shit, he's gone, whatever. But her mom's like, I don't really have anywhere to go. It's just me. So she comes to live with Nannie and her husband. And she keeps her pretty occupied immediately, but probably a little bit more occupied than she would like to because, like, days after moving in, she starts complaining of some stomach pain and she dies.
Oh.
Mama Nannie.
Yeah, she's just killing everybody. Or
She
possibly
dies.
killing everybody, but I'm pretty sure she's killing everybody.
Possibly.
I don't know.
So just a few months later, Richard, her new husband himself, has a pretty bad day after drinking a little arsenic-laced thermos of coffee that Nannie made up for him because he died. So we're ramping things up a little bit here.
And no one's like, do people just look at like these old people or like the way they look and they're just like, not that lady for sure. Bad luck.
Bad luck.
What?
So yeah, not more than a month later, she hops a bus to Oklahoma where she met and married her fifth husband, Samuel Doss. Now, Samuel was arguably the best husband of the lot. You know, not that he didn't have his issues, but I believe he was sort of inherently good. He was a church-going man. He treated her really well, with the exception of one small detail.
Oh, what's this
He
one?
hated her smutty romance novels.
No, you can't hate. No. You can't hate her smutty romance novels. That's her life.
That's her life.
It's her
Yep.
life.
And he was a little bit frugal, which Nannie wasn't used to at this point of her life. So I guess that's two things.
making
But
all that
I can't
insurance
count.
money.
So fuck
Just trying to hold her down.
Yep.
I'm always on the side of the girl if she's terrible. I'm like, no, not her fault.
Not her fault. Taking away her romance.
Her
smut.
romance and her money.
He's got some tight purse strings.
Yep.
So Nannie gets her panties into a twist pretty quickly because of this. He doesn't like her watching TV, certain programs, the romance shit. He's kind of a cheapo, and she threatens to leave. And she's like, I'm not about this. And he decides to loosen his purse strings a little bit in an effort to save his marriage because he really did seem to adore her. And he was like, okay, if this is really what's going to upset you, let's work on it. Compromise. So he ends up putting her name on his bank account and taking out 2 life insurance policies on himself with her as the beneficiary. Yeah, big
Terrible
mistake
idea.
right there, buddy. I see you shaking your head. Are you guys chomping at the bit to find out what happens next?
Yes.
So unpredictable. 3 months after they met and married, September of 1953, she bakes him a lovely little prune cake that she soaked the fruit in poison overnight and topped the freshly baked crust with sugar. And he gets super fucking sick, lands himself in the hospital. He's there for a whole month with this mysterious severe digestive tract infection. But somehow he makes a miraculous recovery.
Oh, she's probably so pissed.
Whew, pissed.
Pissed.
So he's checking out of the hospital with a pep in his step. He's feeling great. He's whistling. He's like, I'm better. And then boom, he's dead a few days later. Now this time the doctor's like, wait a good goddamn minute here. Like this man.
That's what did it?
Rain.
Was that like the 5th husband, right? We're at 5 husbands now?
The 5th husband.
That's what did it? Okay.
5th husband, doctor's like, God damn it, he was good when I discharged him. This is whack. Like, I am suspicious. So, he's like, I'm going to order an autopsy. Fucking call Domino's, order it up. Because they found... Again, Courtney. Don't you laugh into the microphone.
See, she's such a bitch. I'm just sitting here, I'm like, I can't make Nicole mad. I gotta make sure it's all...
I'm trying.
We're trying.
All right.
I'll just be quiet.
All right. He
And
orders
you
an
know, we're
autopsy.
like, don't beat me.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Okay. So he's like, bro, we're getting an autopsy on this bitch. What did they find? Enough arsenic to kill a fucking horse. She was like, she put the whole fucking bottle in.
How do you get arsenic? Like, it must be a thing that you can just get. Right?
You can just get Courtney.
I have no
I look at Courtney. Can you give me the rundown of the arsenic game?
Well, and it's so funny because, like, I heard a thing about, like, rice has arsenic in it.
Really?
Yeah,
It does.
A very small amount, but you're not supposed to eat it, like, every single day because of...
Well, there's a lot of
I think
countries
it's,
that
like,
do
it
eat that every
grows, and
day.
it's just, like, I don't know. I don't want to Google how do you get arsenic.
Oh,
or that's what I
I
was
will.
gonna
I'm
do.
already on government lists.
God damn it, Courtney.
I got you guys. Hold on.
As my first one is a jail roster that I looked up.
I have those all over my phone because I'm always Googling the inmates that I pick up. I'm like, what did you do?
Oh, yeah.
Hurricane. No, I don't even know how to spell arsenic. How do you spell arsenic? I had it.
ARSEN. I see. How easy is it to get arsenic?
Oh, it's a chemotherapy drug used to treat acute leukemia. So it actually is an actual drug that can be used.
The government's tracking your phone now. Like this bitch.
Arsenic, right here.
You can just buy it?
Oxide powder. Holy crap.
Yeah, guys, you can just straight up buy arsenic. Buy chemicals.
Oh.
Buychemicals.com, guys. I buychemicals.com.
We're going to go ahead and post a prune cake recipe. You need to get
Yep.
your own arsenic. BYOA.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not 1952.
It's 99% purity, guys, so you know it's
Wow.
good.
Wow.
Well, interesting. It must be used for the things. If it's like on biochemical stuff, it must be used in stuff for like, I don't know, experiments. I'm a scientist. Like, well, experiments like...
So then to me, so this is saying that they wouldn't do an autopsy, like, very often then, huh? It would kind of take quite a bit to... Or
Yeah.
did they do it every time? Because you would think
no,
that they would
I don't
have with
think
the
so.
other people.
You want
Well,
some fun
and-
facts? Oh, you can start.
Yes. No, I want a fun fact.
Want a fun fact first? You know how why arsenic is popular and why it's easy to just get? It's used as an alloying agent for glass, pigments, textiles, paper, metal adhesive, wood preservatives, and ammunition.
Oh, that's like everything.
It's
Arsenic is
everything,
in,
so
like,
that's why it's
everything.
easily accessible.
Alloys. Interesting.
Yeah. There you go.
It sounds like such an ancient, not an ancient, but
Right?
a really old school type of poison.
Yeah.
Like arsenic and what do they call it? Like aquatofana.
Yeah.
I'm such a trash person who only watches and listens to true crime everything, where the only thing I knew arsenic from is killing people. I'm like, I don't know what it's like. You don't use arsenic for anything but killing people.
Oh, yeah. Like, I imagine that's what in all the bottles, like old school
Yeah.
apothecary bottles with like crossed skull bones. It's like all arsenic. Yeah. Interesting. Good to know.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't think they did autopsies super often unless it was like very clearly a murder or something. Because when you think, I mean, this was in the 40s, so they still didn't have a whole lot of great like trace evidence and DNA. Like all the technology wasn't quite there yet. They could do a pretty basic autopsy, but they could only go so far. So yeah, I don't think they were just dishing them out willy-nilly. But this guy got one. He got one right away because, again, he was not sick before. So he had so much arsenic in him. And finally, she's got some handcuffs on. She's brought into the station. And despite the seriousness of the charges, she's relatively chipper. She's kind of joking with the police and giggling away in the interrogation room. And she knows she's been caught. And she finally agrees to confess, like to at least some deaths, in exchange for the treat of being able to keep a romance magazine.
She loves, give the girl her novels. Like, just let her have them. Let her fantasize.
So I think she initially had just been charged or suspected of the one, and then it all started kind of tumbling down, you know. Because she then confesses to killing 4 of her 5 husbands, and the exhumations of the graves begin. So I can only find a record of 2 exhumations. So one for Arlie Lang, her 3rd husband, and for her mother, who happened to be in the same cemetery. So when they went to exhume Arlie, they encountered a little bit of a problem. His casket was already falling apart and basically caving in on itself, and removing him would risk basically ruining everything. So this damn coroner, man of the year, Mr. David Plummer, was like, yo, I can do this right here, right now. Someone give me my kit. Nice. Surgical instruments are rushed to the scene from Lexington, says the Enterprise reporter. And the coroner crawled into the grave, made an incision, and removed vital organs right then and there. Curious bystanders hovered over the open grave as Dr. Plummer performed the autopsy.
That's badass. I would be there if I was like, what's going on? Are we taking lungs out now?
Totally, right? How insane
cool.
is that? Yep. So the removed organs were rushed to Duke Hospital in Durham, North Carolina, where a toxicologist said Lanning's body tested heavily positive for poison. So, very clear. Those prunes had a lot of arsenic. So, those results led to another body being exhumed in the same cemetery, which was, I'm sure you can guess, I just said, the body of Lou Hazel, who was her mother, who was actually buried right beside Arlie. So,
do you think she just had like a discount card because so many people are dying in her life? Like,
yeah, jeez.
Through the cemetery, like, hey, can I just have this plot? Like, she was probably having every weekend having to do like...
She bought it in bulk.
Yeah. Like, every weekend she's spending at a funeral.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
I got them boat graves.
Right?
So, Nannie denied killing anyone other than the 4 husbands at that time and said, "You can dig up all the other graves in the world, but you won't find anything else on me." But survey says that was a lie because her mom's body tested positive for poison, as did the body of Betty Lanning, Arlie Lanning's mother. So,
well, I feel like the mom deserved it.
The mom?
The mother-in-law. She
the mother-in-law,
like a real
okay.
bitch.
She was kind of a real bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, so Arlie's mother-in-law, we don't know that she was a bitch or not. The first mother-in-law was.
Ooh,
that
I
was the
thought
one
she
who was like
killed the
kind of
first
already
mother-in-law.
dulled. Well, we don't know.
Oh, she totally did that. If she killed the ones that we don't know,
Right. If she killed the second mother-in-law who seemed like she was a fine lady, and she didn't kill this old bitch.
Right?
Like, really?
One grilled cheese sandwich when you walk in the door. You know what I mean? The one grilled cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Just the one.
Yep, just the one.
Yep. So her death count is a little up in the air. Like I said, I found a bunch of conflicting reports. Everything I looked at was slightly different, which was kind of surprising. So it was a little hard to track. So I know that we're all suspicious of her killing around 12 people. So let's count who we're suspicious of. We're just talking about. So we suspect she probably killed her 2 daughters, those 2 middle girls. 4 out of 5 of her husbands, because that first one got away. So that's 6. 2 of her husband's mothers, so mothers-in-law. That's 8. Her own mother, 9. Her sister Dovey, possibly, 10. And then those 2 grandchildren with the hairpin and the asphyxia. And that's 12.
Yeah. Really close to her, too. Like, a lot of close to her people.
Really close, yeah.
Yes, exactly. This is obviously assuming that everybody around her that died, she killed. So it could waver. This place says this place says this article's got this. It's all different, I swear to God. So Nannie Doss ultimately confesses to killing 4 of her husbands, her mother, her sister, her grandson, and 1 mother-in-law, Arlie's mother, the one that was not a bitch. So we've got 8 confessions.
Yeah. And why would she lie if she's already confessing to 8? You know what I mean?
Already, well, the only thing I can think of is because I'm like, well, she didn't admit to killing her 2 daughters, which was suspected food poisoning. Poisoning is her MO. So either she didn't murder them, or maybe she did, but she was like, I draw the line at people thinking I killed my own kids.
Like I can kill my grandbaby though, like my little grandbaby.
I don't know. Who knows? So ultimately, she was only tried for her 5th husband, Samuel Doss's murder. The final husband, and she pled guilty, and she was sentenced to life in prison. She was initially up for the death penalty, but they declined due to her. Well, at one point they had said they had deemed her clinically insane, but then it also came out that they kind of really declined it due to her being a woman and not wanting to be known to execute the first woman in Oklahoma history. So they're kind of like, oh, do we want to be known for that? Let's just probably declare her insane instead. So,
well, she has,
and she could have been a little bit,
yeah. Like, she has to be. Like, I understand, like, there's the things where it's like, okay, this person made me mad. Like, something like this. Like, it seems like my granny, like, oh, she had a disagreement, even as small as it was. And then she'd be like, okay, well, maybe that was with her, too. But she was, like, killing babies where they didn't even get to the point of that disagreement. You know what I mean? Like, ugh.
And why kill one grandbaby and not the other? Like, did the daughter really die in childbirth? I mean, and
you're
then
not
the other one,
healthy, obviously.
No.
You're just killing to kill. Or, it sounds like it.
And that one was after that argument they had about her daughter finding a new partner, and so who knows? But according to the Encyclopedia of Alabama, Nannie Doss appeared thrilled at the prospect of life in prison, and her habit of smiling and giggling as she discussed her crimes earned her the Giggling Granny nickname. She had confessed to killing her husbands and blamed it all on the head injury that she had sustained as a child, which she claimed had given her, those headaches all her life and whatnot. But after 2 years in prison, she really came to lament the life sentence and wished instead that she had been put to death. She was like, prison ain't for me.
If you were going to pick, like, if I had to pick, like, life in prison or get killed, I'd rather get killed. Like, I've only went to jail for a whole 3 days, and, like, I was like, nah, I'd rather...
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Oh.
Not for me.
Not for me. Terrible.
So, despite her being like, I'm not into this, I'm not into this whole prison thing, she did retain a cheerful disposition, and she often made jokes about her case when she talked about him a lot. And when she was interviewed about her life in the McAllister prison in Tulsa, Doss complained that the only job she was allowed there was the laundry, noting that her offers to work in the kitchen were politely declined.
I like that's politely. Like, oh no, ma'am, that's okay. You just go clean the drawers now.
You just go clean. We don't need your prune cakes.
It's okay.
So our Nannie Doss ultimately only served 10 years because she died in prison of leukemia in 1965 when she was just like 59 or 60. Again, even with her fucking death, I've got some places that say 59 and some 60.
Isn't that crazy? Especially
I
with
was
these
trying to
older
find
things.
court documents. I was trying to find like as many legal documents as I can, and I couldn't find anything. So we just got to go on the hearsay.
Yeah, say.
So, yeah, again, her body count's a little up in the air. We're never really going to know. So many conflicting reports. Confessed to 8. I think it's fair to say that we suspect her of all 12. Wikipedia lists 11 victims, but doesn't list which ones, and only actually mentions the 8 confessions, which is confusing as fuck. People magazine reported that she confessed to 11 and not 8. Maybe they meant accused. It's like, I just feel like it's such poor reporting. Nobody got their shit right.
Yeah.
So lots of different info. I feel comfortable giving her, let's say, 11.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that first mother-in-law that sucked really did die of natural causes. So we'll give her that one. We'll subtract that one from 12. I'm gonna feel comfortable saying she probably killed about 11. I think she killed her daughters.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that is the story of Nannie Doss, the giggling granny.
Nannie Doss. Thank you for that. That was wonderful.
Courtney looks disturbed.
This is what we do.
I just keep thinking of Pooh Nanny.
Pooh Nanny.
That poo nanny.
Oh, that Pooh Nanny. So yeah, those are our killer grannies. There are some other killer grannies.
Yeah.
We could have gone on. Obviously, there's not a million, but I honestly thought that you might take Dorothea. Is it
I know.
Dorothea? Is it Fuentes? I think.
Yeah.
Dorothea something. We all know the one. I feel like. Maybe we should give her her own episode.
We will. No,
I don't
she
want
deserves
to. Like,
an
I don't
episode.
want to. I thought about maybe doing just like a quick blip it on her. But there's enough on her that we should give her an episode, and there are shows and all sorts of stuff on her. So
Yeah, she's a big one. For
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I like
she's
the
an
ones that we
interesting
picked.
killer granny.
Yeah. I like also finding those really weird ones every once in a while where you find those ones like, I'm just like, oh, I never heard of this. What is this? So we like to sprinkle them in. We like to sprinkle them.
Yeah, yep, sprinkle them in. So yeah, that was fun. I hope everybody enjoyed and had their favorite granny.
I did too. All right, bye.
Bye.
Until next time, this has been Nicole and Dini and
I'm Courtney.
with Girls Gone Weird.
Girls gone weird. Girls